Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina, a holistic approach for mental, physical, and spiritual well being so you can become the best version of yourself. I have the honor to be blessed to be interviewing Candace Van Dell today. Welcome, Candace.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I know it's just like electric with us, and we've
We just
never
met, we're
met.
like besties.
We're like besties. We're moving to South Carolina,
Together.
Charleston together. Anyway, Candace, we were just talking before I pressed record about like I found you on Instagram, and I said I love Instagram for that reason, and how I have a love-hate relationship with it, which we're going to go into later because of and we're going to talk about anxiety, we're going to talk about ADD, we're going to talk about HSPs and empaths because we both live there. And I really wanted, I was trying to decide where I wanted the focus to go on this podcast. And I was like, I think, there's only, I think 20% of the people that have HSP. And, so I don't think it's talked about enough. And the people that do have it and maybe don't, I didn't know I had this or I
Mhm.
was an HSP probably until 2 years ago. Okay. And that's a long life to not know that.
Yeah.
And I think people that maybe they don't know it, they just
Mhm.
feel like, what is wrong with me? That was like the message with me. What is wrong with me?
Totally.
I mean,
Totally.
it started in childhood. The message from my father was I could never do enough.
Yeah.
I use this example. I should probably find another example, but
Yeah.
I'd win the tennis tournament. And he's like, well, what were you doing in the second set?
Oof.
So, oh, is
How
right.
about what I did?
How about what? So, guess what happens to me now? That's what I
Yes,
do.
yourself. Yeah.
And I really have to zone in on this and really be conscious in correcting this,
Yeah.
that negative loop that goes in my head. Because now I used to think, well, once he passed away, he passed away when I was 28 years old. Oh, that'll go. No, no.
You
Now
have
it's
the emotional imprint in your head. So you do to your inner child what was done to you as a child until you shift that.
right, exactly. So why don't we start there? Why don't we start there? Because it all starts with your childhood, right?
Absolutely. I know people say, "Oh, I've healed it." I'm like, "Well, what are your patterns?" There's other
Yes.
things to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are your patterns, right? And
Yeah.
I think everybody, even if you had a pretty good childhood, you're gonna, there are wounds that you have to address.
Well, yeah, and let me just say one thing. I have my podcast. I did it for this reason. It's called Misunderstood Guiding Highly Sensitive People Through an Emotional Dark Age. Because what we don't realize is even if we had a good family, we are in an emotional dark age society where emotional intelligence does not exist. So a lot of us who are born highly sensitive or became hypervigilant because of trauma in the home, doesn't matter which reason, we're in a society that lacks a mirror. We're not getting our emotions mirrored, which means we're not going to get a self anchored in a secure way because our emotions are basically boundaries. And if they're not mirrored, we don't have a sense of self being mirrored. So you're in a world that's basically traumatizing you, whether you had great parents or not.
Well, you know, and that's funny that you said that because I find the older I get, the
Uh-huh.
more I just stay in. And I'm going, Tina, are you becoming like a recluse? But I was watching somebody else, or who was it? Somebody I interviewed that was like in energy and stuff. She goes, I hardly, no, it wasn't somebody interviewed. I don't leave my house because I don't like all the energy that's out there.
Well, I
Right?
told you I live in the woods. I live in the
It,
mountains. I
is
kept
it
moving further and further
okay?
away.
So let's talk about that. I want to talk
Mhm.
about your backstory. So that's the reason.
Mhm.
That's the reason. And I just moved from Newport Beach
Mhm.
to back to, I'm from the desert. And I find it very
Mm.
healing and very spiritual. When I left after COVID, I couldn't wait to get out. But
Yeah.
and then I went through the dark night of the soul, and
Yeah.
now I'm back. But why don't we hear your story? How did you get? Because I know you used to be a model and an actress. Tell us your journey and how you got into this field of helping people with HSPs and
Yeah. It's so long, so I'm going to try to cliff note it as much as possible. Rush me along if you want to. I knew very early on in my childhood that something was different about me, and I knew that because I would feel everything that nobody would admit. Like I would have all these emotions about things and let them out. My parents were like gaslighting me because they didn't know how a little kid could know what was going on in their marriage without them speaking about it. And so that turned out to be me not really paying attention as much as I should in school unless I love the topic, whatever. So they bring me to a doctor and they're like, something's wrong with our daughter. And they do an IQ test and it was like a genius IQ. It was 7, but I wasn't getting straight A's. So they're like, something's wrong with her. We'll give her a pill called Ritalin. She has ADD. And that's how it started for me. As at 7, I was diagnosed as, the diagnosed patient in the family, even though I was the one showing the family what was going on that they were in denial of. So I
Hmm.
always felt like I'm stuck in a world that's never going to understand me.
Right.
And well, and so I took the Ritalin and did it dim that sensitivity? Yeah. And did I get great grades? Yeah. And also I had anxiety. I couldn't feel myself. Like it was not good for me.
Hmm.
And I had a spiritual awakening when I was my 16th birthday. I was at a youth group camp in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived in Chicago, so it's kind of weird. I live there now.
That
And
is.
is it though? And at that day, we were in this dome with 2,000 other kids, and I lifted out of my body and I didn't know what was going on. And I started looking around, and everybody in the dome, 2,000 kids, had my face. Like I'd look at them, and everyone was mirroring me. And then I looked at the preacher on this big, you know, TV thing, and it was me. And I was like, what the fuck? And I had these downloads that there is no separation. God made you perfect for your purpose. It's society that said something's wrong with you, not God. And I had all these downloads, and I asked my friends, I'm like, do you see my face when you look at me, or do you see your face? Like I didn't know what was going on. And all of a sudden, one of my kids, like my friends, like shook me. She's like, Candy, Candy. And I was like, and I dropped back in, I guess. And I was like, whoa, did this just happen to you? And they're like, what are you talking about? You were just kind of like out of it. So I knew I had something going on. I didn't know what it was till later in life, but I had this download.
Hmm.
And the download was, you're going to be doing this work. I'm 16. You're going to be doing the spiritual work, healing people to understand that there is no separation, to understand that you were made perfect for your purpose. There's nothing wrong. It's just society. And I had all these downloads, and I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? I'm 16. There's no college degree to do this kind of
No,
work. And also, I kept getting picked to do
it was like
model.
woo woo back then.
It
Yeah.
was so woo woo. And I was like, the last thing I want is to be weird and different because that's what I was always called. You're
Mhm.
weird. You're
Mhm.
different. Why do
Yeah.
you see these things? Why do you say these things? Because it's
Right.
true.
Right.
Uh, so my other dream, because I was like, I can't find it in school and I don't want to be woo woo, so I'll just wait till I can get a degree. Um, I kept getting picked for modeling stuff. And so literally I told one of my best friends, I think I'll just be a model for a while, travel the world if it's possible. I don't know. And that night we run into this woman who's an agent. She's like, can you come to this city? I want to sign you the next week. I get a contract in Tokyo. I'm leaving 1 week out of high school to go on my first contract. And I just started modeling. And it was just like very synchronistic, very aligned. I was just like, here's my path. And I modeled for 20 years, but a couple years after that, going back to school, back and forth, I ended up in Los Angeles and signed with this huge TV agent. I was like, everything just was happening. And I did that for a lot of years until my soul came knocking during my Saturn returns. It was like, you really are done with this. You really want to do your spiritual work. And I remember walking down the street one day in Santa Monica. I lived in Brentwood, and I looked up and there was a master's degree program in spiritual psychology. And I'm like, of course it's time. And I did
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
and my career started.
And I think a lot of people, here's what's happening in our society. Tell me if you agree. I'm pretty sure you will. The matrix tells us to push more, do more, and be more. Okay? So when we're doing that, we get blinders on because if we're just focusing on what we have to do, and there's all these, we're asking for these things, we're asking for our dreams to come true, we're asking for the opportunities, but if you're so in your lane, you're not going to see the opportunities right in front of you. And if your mind was that busy, you would have, it probably wouldn't even notice the billboard,
No,
right?
no.
So it's all about, you had been really reconnected to yourself. And I think that's really the point, what we're talking about, right?
Yes. Yes. I
Is
feel like one of the reasons I ended up doing exactly what I was meant to do is I have always had a really strong guidance, even though I had wounding from my childhood, the shame of ADHD, the stigma, all that shit. I still also had that download when I was 16, that out of body experience that showed me there is this way too. And so
yes.
it was always this thing with me as a kid or teen of like, where is spiritual law in this society? And when I finally realized you ain't going to find it here, you're going to find it within and just follow that.
Hmm.
I was always finding myself on my path. I just kept following that higher guidance. It was always a battle, but I would always choose that at the end of the day.
I think once you surrender to that,
Mhm.
that's where the pivotal point for me was.
100%. Yeah.
And I'm not saying surrender when it's convenient to surrender.
No.
Like, so, oh, I'm surrendering because everything's going great, right? So, I mean,
No,
my mom
no.
taught me everything happens for a reason. And I really, it sounds, oh, that sounds so positive or whatever, but it's
It's
so
true.
true. Everything is happening for us, not to us.
Yeah.
You know, the challenges are really not to break us, it's to elevate us. But we still can get, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that because, a lot of my clients will say, is this my truth or my trauma? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. And every time we own, so people are like busy disowning themselves because they think God abandoned them. I'm like, it's not God, it's society that treated you this way. It's
Yes.
society that creates traumatic parenting and all the things. It's society. And so when people are like, well, what is my feeling? Is it my truth or my trauma? I say, it's your feeling. And when you can just be honest about what is and surrender to what is, you start to elevate in a way. You start to be like, wait a minute, I'm not against myself. I'm not fighting something. It's this diluted version of this false idol called society and standards that we worship over God. So we don't know which is which a lot of the
Hmm.
time. That's why people think things are happening to me. I'm like, or you're allowing it because you're dialed into a lower vibration right now. And there's ways to shift that quickly.
Right. And we always have to label things as good or bad, as
Right.
opposed to, like you just said, it just is.
It just is, it's neutral. And
It's
neutral observing is what really, I think, catapults people in the healing. That's why groups are amazing because you're neutrally observing someone going through exactly what you're going through. You're like, oh, I see it differently now instead of me projecting all this shit onto something.
on myself. Yeah. And I want to go back to what you just said about is it, what did you say? Is it trauma or is it what? What
Truth.
were you, trauma or truth? So that was going to be one of my questions to you because I want to know the difference because sometimes I have a very strong intuition and I think most HSPs do,
Yeah,
right? And it's almost
definitely.
scary. It's like I told a girlfriend she was going to go in she owns a company. She wanted me to be there and talk to her employees after and everything. And she was thinking about firing him that day.
Ah,
And I told her that morning, I said, he's gonna leave. He's gonna
wow.
leave. And sure enough, that's what happened. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I do trust my intuition, but sometimes I wonder, is this a trigger? Am I being triggered by an emotional trauma
Hmm.
or is this my intuition?
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So, like, let's take dating, for example,
Hmm.
because this happened to me. It's like all of a sudden, I just felt like, get out, get out.
Hmm.
And that wasn't like any kind of abuse or anything like that, but and then I sat with it. I mean, I got out. But after that, I was like, is that my intuition telling me he's the wrong person? Or is it something that he did that triggered
Hmm.
a trauma wound that made me feel unsafe that I have never known how to deal with that. I mean,
You know what I would say if
what?
I were coaching you? I'd say it doesn't matter. Get out.
Okay, so I did the right thing.
Yes, because listen, if it was an old trauma triggering you or it was something he did, either way, it's in your body. See, what people forget or they don't know actually is when we had a trauma in the past that is or isn't healed, doesn't matter. And we're having an experience of something now. It's not that we're over exaggerating, it's really bad because of a trauma from my past. It's that I've had that trauma. So now I'm hypersensitive to what they're doing, whether I see it right now or not.
Right.
So it's a
So
guidance.
I see. So basically, it's going, I'm here still.
Yeah.
I still need to be healed. That's why it's coming up.
And I need to be listened to. So if
The,
this
the
is
feeling, the
the
feeling.
feeling,
Yes.
so whether the guy was doing what you thought he was doing or afraid he was doing or not, it doesn't matter. That's how it's making you feel right now. So it is a no for you.
It's a no for me. Yeah. Interesting. Very
Mhm.
interesting.
People like to dissect, oh, if I was healed, I'd be in a different version. I'm like, babe, if you were healed, you would never be attracted to that or in the vibration of attracting that. So anything that shows up for us in our lives is exactly where we are. So if I have a feeling about you, it doesn't matter. It's not my body making it up. It's a true
Yes.
feeling. So it doesn't
Yes.
matter. having aligned action and getting into your authentic alignment is about listening to these things, not questioning it, not gaslighting yourself, but saying, this is a no for me. I don't know why. I don't care why. Bye.
Right, right, right. It's a no. And trust yourself that is a no. And also trust that if it was meant to be, it'll show, you cannot lose anything, whether it's a relationship or money or anything,
Yeah.
because if it's meant for you, it will circle back around. Right. And I
Yes.
think that's why we cling so tightly to situations and people
Yeah.
and things, but it's just the opposite. And I always use this example too. It's like when we first come into the world, we don't have those kind of fears. I mean, burning your hand
Totally.
on the stove or whatever. So that's really what we're all trying to get back to, is that natural state.
You know what it is? It has everything to do with your level of abandonment wound.
Mm.
I'm not self-abandoned. I'm not attaching to shit because I know it'll flow because I'm abundant. But if
Yes.
I have an abandonment wound and I'm partially abandoning part of myself, I'm like, oh my God, I need that because that's where my worthiness is, or that's where we're all looking to attach to things because we don't feel safe as being enough in our body. And
Yes.
we forget that we are the attractors of our
Yes.
reality. So if I'm
Yes.
still in existence, there's going to be love around me, right? So
Exactly.
let it
Exactly.
go. It'll come back if it's true. It'll leave if it wasn't. You'll figure it out.
Well, and the thing is too, people, oh, that person abandoned me. My husband cheated on me and left me or whatever. Okay, that's something out of your control. But
Right.
what I find is what we do every day until we heal is we're abandoning ourselves. And if
100%.
we don't abandon ourselves, that person can do whatever they want to do, and you're going to be fine, right? So,
Yeah.
going through the dark night of the soul that I went through, I realized that I was so not in touch with myself. It's like
Yeah.
I was so fragmented. I didn't even know what that felt like. I mean, I know what it was. I wrote this down that you said we can't experience or maintain true health unless we are true to ourselves.
Yeah.
To unclear, unwanted symptoms, so we must get back into alignment with what we feel. So
Yes.
how do we start with that?
Well, the first thing I want to say that people don't realize until they really hear this about abandonment and getting back in touch with yourself is, that feeling you feel when you're afraid someone's going to abandon you. You're like, they're going to abandon me. Our inner child is afraid you're going to agree with the abandonment. It's not worried about that person leaving. It's worried about you abandoning yourself because you are attaching your worth to that person loving you.
Right, right,
Once we say, okay, bye, because we've learned how to unconditionally love ourselves and never abandon ourselves, then we don't get that feeling when people abandon. We're like, okay, not for me. It's anchoring that worth. So part of getting back in touch with how you feel is being real about how you feel so you can heal. So back to the truth versus trauma, it doesn't matter what the feeling is. We tend to abandon what we feel because we're like, am I right about this? Am I wrong about this? Who cares? Own what you feel. Don't buy into the belief you've attached to the meaning of why you feel what you feel. Who cares? Just allow yourself to feel it. An example. Oh my God, I'm feeling like really scared right now and people will say, but I shouldn't, because if I was a more healed version, that wouldn't matter to me. And if it's not really what's happening, that I shouldn't feel what I feel. What I say is throw all the shoulds out the window. This is what you feel. And
right.
to really get emotionally honest, that is when we first start to get in touch with ourselves. But then, so an example, if someone said, I don't even know how to feel anymore, that happens a lot when people have
Hmm.
really shut down.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll say, great. So what you feel is, I don't know how to fucking feel. Own it.
Start there. Just start
Start
there.
there because
Yeah.
what you're doing is you're validating and you're acknowledging your truth.
Yes.
Truth is,
You're
I don't
you're
know how to
you're
feel.
not judging yourself.
Yeah.
You're not judging. And
Instead
then
of
when you
saying, I don't have any feelings, I don't know how to feel that, Candace. I'm like, yes, you do. You don't feel. That's your feeling. And they're like,
yes,
oh. And then when we start to align our action steps with what we feel, we're living more in alignment and integrity and integration and authenticity. All of it goes together.
exactly. Exactly. And you mentioned ADD. I didn't even know there were seven different kinds. Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
I have four. And one of them
I love it.
and one of them is Ring of Fire. So, like, for if you don't know, if anybody didn't know that, you put a camera on my brain, it's always lit up.
Yeah,
I mean, my
yeah.
son cracks me. I mean, I crack him up because he lives and he's 21 years old. And the minute my eyes are open and I see him, I'm like, did you know? And he's like, Mom, I
Love
just
it.
woke up. But do you think that ADD
Uh-huh.
has anything to do with being an HSP?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you
I just
do?
did, oh yeah. I wrote a book on this 13 years ago and I never published it because the world wasn't ready, but I am publishing it now for a big reason. The man who came up with the concept Indigo Children, have you ever heard of Indigo Children?
Yes, and I saw that you yes, because you
Yeah.
talk about that on your was it your podcast or you did a
Yeah.
radio show? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So the man
Yes.
who created the book called The Indigo Children in 1999, I read the book in 2001. So many years ago. And in that book, so long story short, in that book, it talks about basically highly sensitive children or children who are labeled ADHD being indigo children. And what it means is a higher level of consciousness. And
Yes.
what it means is you're here to shift the paradigm. So funny enough, this man, his name is Lee Carroll, came to me a couple months ago and said, I need you to be in my Indigo Summit. We've watched your stuff. You're totally an indigo. You're exactly.
Hey guys, okay, let's talk skincare. For most of my adult life, I had a hate relationship with my skin. I struggled with adult acne, discoloration, large pores, psoriasis, and fine lines. I swear, all that changed when I started using herbal face food. I mean, this stuff is powerful. We're talking the world's most potent antioxidant and anti-blemish formula, and the serum is the number one anti-aging serum in the world, made entirely from 100% botanical plants. No chemicals, no synthetics, 100% all natural. Whether you're dealing with fine lines, dark spots, sun damage, rosacea, psoriasis, melasma, or just want that all day healthy glow, herbal face food has your skin covered. Literally. I've been using all their products for 3 years now, and let me tell you, it's like green juice for your face, only stronger. Remember, whatever you put on your skin goes in your body. So, this is a really important point here, seeing that it's 100% all natural. Give it a try. It's got a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. You can check them out at herbalfacefood.com and use the promo code TINA20 for 20% off your entire order. That's herbalfacefood.com because your skin deserves the
Lily and Indigo,
best.
you're exactly what our books are about for the last 25 years. I'm like, what? Your book actually changed my life. So I was one of the,
Oh my God. How
yeah, it was so
fantastic.
validating. So I did their
Wow.
summit, and then they had me do their podcast called Wednesdays with Cryon that actually aired yesterday. And I did a live inner child channeling for them. And they wrote me today and they're like, this is insane. It went so well. Do you want to do more collabs? And I thought it was so cool because my concept has always been if you're highly sensitive, you're probably having ADHD. And so I
Mm,
talked to them about it. They're like, yes, absolutely. And I'm like, yeah, nobody talks about it because they want, I'm going to go there. The system wants to dumb you down so the system looks like it's working.
hmm
Kids who come in with a different brain, neurodivergent, what I like to say is a different level of consciousness, who are basically sitting in school and being like, I'm way faster than this boring
Oh, I
shit.
was like that too. I don't
Yeah.
even know how I graduated with a B in
Uh, yeah, same until
yeah,
college when I did it all my own way. And then I got a straight A because I was like, this is the way I'm going to do it my own way. But
yeah.
in school, I was figuring out long division problems and getting the right answer, doing it differently. And they would
Mm,
mark it wrong because I didn't follow their steps. I'm like,
yes.
yeah, I have a different way of doing it. And they're like, well, that's wrong. So I think a lot of HSPs are multidimensional beings. Like we can feel things, see things. We're getting messages in of how to do things differently to create a different world. And we're being put into a box of wrong because it's not the way the system has been. But the system is so out of date that these kids that have these abilities are being pushed down, shamed, and diminished. So we shut down our gifts. So we don't realize that us changing the world is about empowering that sensitivity that was stripped from us from a shitty ass society.
Oh
What I
God.
think.
So well said. So well said. And you know what? This could be a totally other topic, but I am furious at the education system.
I
Not
can't
only for just
there
what you said, why is this stuff not being taught to children? You know,
because you know why? I hate to say this, and I'm going to go
fear.
there.
They want to keep them fearful.
Well, my mom is a school teacher, so we did not get along my whole childhood. She's a doctorate of education, and what I know to be true, which she tells me now, is, honey, we didn't know you had a new way. And if I look at our relationship as a child and a mother, it was so difficult because she said, I was never enough for you. And I said, no, you just weren't capable of understanding my level of emotional intelligence. You know what she'll say to me? Yeah. So to have my teacher mother finally validate me all these years
Oh,
later,
wow.
It's the truth. She's like, you're right. Like we're told what to teach and that's it, and don't go outside of that. And I think a lot of people in the system feel inadequate
Yeah.
when people ask questions. My favorite question as a child was why? But why though? It doesn't make sense though. Tell me why. And they
Me
can't tell
too.
me why.
Me too. Me
It
too.
fucking doesn't make sense. And
Very
then you're the
curious
problem
mind.
because you're asking too many questions.
Yeah. Right.
What?
Exactly. Shut you
Of
down. Shut. Yeah, exactly. And then we start shutting ourselves down, right?
course. Yeah.
What is the Indigo Child is so what exactly is the
It's
Indigo
a
Child? It
So
just
it started as like an aura color, indigo. It was a new color.
uh-huh.
And that's the third eye. That's insight, intuition, all the shit that I do, right? And I'm sure
Right.
you do too. And it also is a different energy consciousness. So all the kids coming in now are basically indigos or crystals or rainbows. I don't go too woo-woo with it, but if you know about star seeds, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And what it is different levels of consciousness. A lot of kids are coming in right now not wanting to have a gender. Great, you're more of a soul, right? You're not wanting to be in
So are
boxes.
you saying that this new generation, they're mostly Indigo children?
Our generation, I don't know how old you are. I'm guessing you're around the same age as me. Our generation and younger
Uh-huh.
are indigos. Like I'm an old indigo. Basically, they started in 1978, which is the year I was born. But I have clients that are indigos in their 60s. So it's just very like,
I'm 62, so I'm still an
oh my
Indigo.
God, you look like what are you talking about? You look amazing. I thought you were younger than me. What?
No, I'm 62.
Love that for you.
But
See?
you know what? You look younger too. And you know what they say? They people that carry a lot of light
Yeah, they look
do
younger.
look younger. I
So
mean,
do you.
honestly, I feel like the best I've ever felt, and I do feel like I get that all the time, like all the time. There's no
Your
way you
skin
don't.
is like flawless. It's crazy.
Herbal face food girl, I'll turn you on to it.
Send it over.
Yours is flawless too, but okay, so that clears up. I hold on. There's just so many things I want to talk about. Attachment trauma, how it relates to HSPs. In case people don't know what an HSP is, we feel things 5 times stronger than most people. So that means when we feel great, five
Mm.
times stronger. When we feel sad, 5 times stronger.
Yeah.
Energy really affects us. Like I realized I don't like going out to dinners at night, not when
Yeah.
it's late,
Yeah.
because I finally figured it out. When I go into a restaurant, it's too loud, like after 8 o'clock. People
Mhm.
are drinking and all that. And it's like, I'll go, God, it's so loud in here. And people go, no, it's not. I can't be around crowds, things like that. So how do you regulate your nervous system when you get overwhelmed?
So I don't. And I'll tell you why. I think it's so many years of inner work. I've been doing inner work for over 20 years. I just put a reel out, I think 2 days ago, about how when you do enough inner work, the sensitivity does not work against you anymore. It works for you. And so I
Mm,
think what's happened to me is I'm not desensitized at all. I'm just so aware. This is what I think it is. I actually know on some level, but mentally, this is how I'll describe it. I don't think there's anything above me, below me, more powerful than me, less powerful than me, scary. I don't think there's any threats in my
hmm.
environment ever
Yeah,
that I am not A, aware of or B, capable of taking care of. Part of the
that's the key right there.
ability,
Yep.
part of the sensitivity issue with HSPs is that we are worried we'll be overwhelmed because when we were children, we weren't emotionally mirrored by parents or society. We didn't know how the fuck to handle our emotions.
Yeah.
So we either shut them down or leave.
You're
So
too
what I
sensitive. I heard that all the time. You're too
Yeah, you're
sensitive.
too dramatic, you're too sensitive, all the things. You're weird. Because I couldn't wear the color red. I couldn't wear jeans. I had to wear sweatpants for like 15 years because it hurt my skin. Like I was overly sensitive. I had
Yes.
72 food allergies. Now, none of that. And I really know it's because I've really anchored so strongly into what I am that I don't feel any threats ever. If music's too loud, I'm like, it's loud. Let's go here. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, a threat and I gotta go. What
Yeah.
I always tend to do is go ask the manager, can you put the music down? It's really loud. Like I feel that my sensitivity isn't too much. It's just accurate. And if people can't notice it, they can't, but I'm gonna ask. I'm not gonna be in environments that don't work for me. I'm gonna make them work for me.
Right. exactly. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I'm not quite there yet, but I am getting there. And what I am noticing, I mean, I'm telling you, Candace, I just realized this year. My son is like so easygoing. He's like the oldest soul. And anything that didn't go my way, if it was out of order or I would freak out. And
Mm,
it just came to me this week. You know what it was? Because I didn't, like you just said, I didn't feel like I was capable
capable.
of handling the
Totally.
upset. Right. But
Totally.
and those of you that are listening that feel the same way, I think the best way to get out of that is looking back on your life and going, I got
Really
through it.
did
I got
it.
through everything. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here still.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
not like life or death, but that's when I was in my parasympathetic parasympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, which is all tied into everything. So, what would you say the difference is between empaths and HSP? Are you both, by the way?
Yeah. So I'm actually clairsentient, which is like another, I forgot what they call it. It's some type of empath where I can feel what you're feeling and tell you how to understand it. Like that's pretty much what I do in my sessions where I'll be like, oh, when you were 7, this happened. It's clairsentience. But the difference between empath and HSP is a few different things. An HSP is tuning into everything higher. So what we see, how we feel. An empath is feeling the emotions of everyone else without a boundary. So
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
we can become a healed empath and work on boundaries, but when you're HSP, what can happen is you can fall into hypervigilance, and that's because you're letting it all get to you so much. So that's another kind of boundary. I have this course called Boundaries Boot Camp, and
That's me. That you just said that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Not all the time, but yeah.
yeah, well, it's totally natural for anyone who has HSP. And so in this Boundaries Bootcamp course, I talk about inner, outer, and energetic boundaries. No one talks about it because when you're HSP, you need inner boundaries, outer boundaries, and energetic boundaries. It's not just a boundary,
Right.
it's a lot.
That's your course, did you say?
That's one of the courses. It's called Boundaries Bootcamp. Really,
Boundary. I'm taking
every
that one.
HSP
Boundaries.
needs it. Yeah, it's amazing. I wanted to say something, if you don't mind me going back 1 second, because it has to do
Absolutely.
with
Boot
the
camp.
capability. You don't want life to show you that you're capable or make you remember, because what happened to me, how I started really anchoring like gnarly big time was, I don't know if it was like 6 years ago. I think it was around, it was when the Woolsey fire happened. My house was in the Woolsey fire in Malibu.
Mm.
I think it was 18 or 19. And at that time, I also found out shit about my husband. So I had to get a divorce. My dog, my soulmate dog, she's here with me all the time. She was
Oh.
dying of cancer. She died in my arms. I literally lost my home, my marriage, my soulmate dog,
You
everything.
lost your home in the fire? Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. Boy, were they
everything.
making space for you.
They were like, hey, girl, just so you know, you're you, regardless of your whole shit.
Yes. Take
And
everything away.
it took everything away. And so I'm sitting at a hotel with no home, no shit, no belongings, nothing. Not sure if I'm going to stay married or not. Don't know if my dog's living or dying. And I'm sitting there coaching. And my clients are like, how are you showing up for us when all this shit's going on in your world? And I realized, oh my God, who I am and what I am has no bearing on external anything. The dog and I, we're going to be soulmates forever. The husband,
Hmm.
whether it comes or goes, I'm good.
Hmm.
The house is burned down. The Maserati burned up in the garage. I'm like, I don't need anything to know I'm enough capable
Right.
to handle it. And when I went through all this shit, the last thing that happened was the divorce. The divorce was what I thought was going to be the hardest thing in the world. It pulled on me emotionally, financially, physically, in all ways. All of the survival things came up. And that's when I anchored into my determination that, like, no one's taking me down. Nothing
Hmm.
bad is going to happen. I'm going to be fine. And just me being there for me and nobody else. I literally was living in Las Vegas. All my friends were in LA. It was like this whole thing. And I ended that divorce exactly the way that I wanted to. I'm like, no, this is how it's going to go. And when I
Hmm.
finished that, I realized in that moment, nothing's going to take me down. Nothing's going to be too much. I got this. And sometimes we need to be reminded by life that you need to step up for yourself to remind yourself that you got this. Or maybe we could just decide so all of Candace's shit doesn't have to happen to you.
Right. Right.
But that
Exactly.
was it. it
Well,
was
there's
that moment of breakdown where I was like, I'm gonna rise up. And
exactly. And I think a lot of the suffering comes from us being attached to the outcome. You being attached to that you have to be married the rest of your life. You being attached to that house. You being
yeah,
right. And then
that's
that's we
100%
create
right.
right. So I
Yeah.
mean that's like with anything, I try not to, I don't like that word. I don't get attached to outcomes. I observe and I step away from that. Absolutely. So
You
and
don't
then
need to be attached to the outcome when you trust that everything's always working out for you.
Exactly. And when you're, again, with opportunities, if you're attached to a certain outcome,
Hmm.
maybe the universe has something even bigger and better for you. Right.
Hmm.
And you have to have it this way. And that used to get, I think that would probably, I think I could speak for probably 90% of the people out there.
Yeah.
And that causes the suffering too.
Yeah.
I want a relationship or I want this job or whatever. And it's got something better in mind. I mean, and then we're so caught up in the fact that it didn't turn out our way
Yeah.
that we're missing the better opportunity. So it's really all about getting in alignment, trusting your intuition. What would be some of the first steps you would say in order to like deal with your inner child, getting connected to your intuition, learning how to trust yourself? Like just two or three things that they could start off with.
The
Uh,
first thing I was going to say about that is ask yourself, this will get you in touch with all of it. Ask yourself why it is I want that.
mm,
Why am I attached? What happens if I let go? You're afraid of
mm-hmm.
something. If you let go, you're afraid of what?
Right,
That's
right,
the deeper thing. So all these things get you deeper in touch with your truth. What's my truth? Not my attachment. I want to be married. Why? What do
right.
you think that's going to save you from?
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people going in a relationship is they just want to be saved.
You
But guess
can't.
what? You have to save yourself. And anybody that you're going to attract into your life is just a mirror of who you are,
I
right?
teach this
Can't
all
find
day long.
something in somebody else that you don't have yourself because you're not going to attract that first of all, right? And the whole universal laws is what they want us to be reliant on ourselves, right?
100%. If you are attracting unavailable partners, there is a part of your inner child you're unavailable to. And I know that because you want to be saved. Well, save yourself first. So if you're attracting unavailable people that you think are so available, they're love bombing you, guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to teach you to heal yourself because they're not going to be the thing that saves you ever. No one can.
Yes. I had a question. Okay, so I just had a question about love bombing. Let's see. Shoot, where is that? It was a good one too, because I know that I used to get those people all the time, and it felt so good.
Me too.
Did you really? Yeah, it felt so good. It was like, oh my God, my finally somebody that's going to save
Yeah.
me. Somebody's yeah, and there's no way around it. There's only one way through it. And so, like I tell all my clients, and one of your reels or whatever it was, you got to lean into the problem,
Yeah.
right? Everything is about leaning in, but when it gets uncomfortable, it gets painful, we want to do the opposite. I want to get
Right.
away from that, right?
Right.
So, any tools,
Yes.
um, any tools to get more like connected with yourself?
Yes. So when something feels really uncomfortable, you have to think about this. When you are in alignment, there's nothing uncomfortable. So that is your excitement. You should
Mm,
go towards it, be like, what is it that's blocking me? What misbelief about myself or life am I running from? It's a
mhm,
misbelief because truth doesn't hurt. They
mhm.
always say, oh, the truth hurts. Yeah, it hurts for people that need to live in denial. So really being open and available to your truth at all time because you know it's only going to help you. It's not going to hurt you is the first thing to get in touch. People are disconnected from their intuition because they're so busy living a societal based life. I live a spiritual life in society. I do not live a societal based life.
Well, like, expand on that a little bit, Candace.
Yeah, like
So, what? Because I know what you're talking about,
standard,
but expand on it a little bit. Societal
standard.
based life.
Yeah. Societal based life is you go to school, you go to college, you
Yeah,
get married, you have cars, you have
yeah,
money. Oh my God, who's wearing what? I don't give a rat's ass
yeah.
because I know that's created by a person that created society, not God.
Yes,
So
yes.
these
Exactly.
standards are keeping us
Like,
in
who set these standards? Not
false
you.
idols, false
Yep.
idols.
False
So
idols.
false idols in society, by the way, are the beauty ideal, are how much you should weigh, are what you should wear, how much money you should make, what tax bracket you're in, where's the coolest place to live, like all this shit.
Yes.
Okay. Why
Yeah.
does it have
Right. And we're
such
trying to keep
power?
up with that. And that's why we get shut
Why?
down and we don't trust ourselves. And we're like, because I know that's the way I used to be. It's like if I
Yeah.
couldn't see something, well, that's probably my ADD too, is like if I couldn't see from A to Z how that's going to work, I'm not even going to start it, you know? And
Mm.
that was a big thing that I learned this last year too. It's just really calm down, Tina. All you have to do is get 3 of these things done today, not 12.
Right.
Because you set yourself up
Why?
for failure too. Right.
Yeah.
Why? Right? There's
Now, another thing I should mention, because this is totally on board with what we're talking about, is a lot of people think that hitting the society marks does make me happy. Do you know why? Because you've been programmed to think I'm enough if I do this.
yes.
But I want to challenge y'all listening. Why don't you do all this? Because I did. And
Mhm.
I didn't feel any more healed inside. I was still attracted to narcissists. I was still like, oh, am I enough? And then when I started like really healing and getting rid of all, like literally vanished, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to live based on what I want to do and what feels good. And guess what? People like me a lot because I don't.
Exactly. You're so it's so freeing. Well, of course, because they're drawn to the light.
Yeah,
And
and they
once
don't
you
have to be anything that they're not. I'm like, cool. Love meeting your truth too. Whatever it is great.
exactly, but you are like living your truth. And so it's like they're attracted to that. They want more of that, whether they realize that consciously or not consciously, because people are very
Love
attracted to
that.
me. I mean, since I was little, people
Yeah.
would open up to me and tell me their stories, their
Yeah.
deepest, darkest secrets, like 10 or something. It's like, and like you, I
Yeah.
always have the answer.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling them
Yeah.
and so and you probably were like this too. It's like sometimes it's easier to help other people. I mean, I'm great at coaching my clients, but sometimes to coach myself, it's a little bit, but which is why I think everybody needs a coach, right?
I
I
think that
found
was,
my question about love bombing.
yeah.
If you're repelled by love bombing, is that a sign of healing?
No,
No?
this is going to confuse people. Some people don't know what the hell love bombing is. They just think this guy or this girl is really amazing. So this is why some people can get trapped in these dynamics and be like, wait, what? I thought this person was just being honest. They're very good at faking shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've been trapped in this before, but it's so funny. I got in a situation where I was like, wow, this is really like amazing and great. And I kind of knew it was love bombing. I was like, I'm going to go with it because I need this right now. And then like a
Wait,
couple
wait,
months
wait, wait.
in,
What do you mean you need that right
I was
now?
like, I really need this attention right now. I was going
Okay,
through
okay, gotcha. That's what I thought you
and
meant.
and what was funny is like I knew it the whole time, so I didn't get like stuck in there, but I was like enjoying it. And then it came to a point a couple months in where I was like, God dang it, I can see the little flags of the control and the manipulation. I know too much. I can't gaslight
You
myself.
you
I
you
gotta
probably already
go.
know what's coming next. Yeah,
I
I mean,
did.
you're already
And
ahead.
so I got out before anything got gnarly. But like people, women especially who are, go-getters and beautiful and powerful and love themselves are gonna be love bombed
Hmm.
because narcissists are really attracted to powerful people.
Right.
They're attracted to your supply. So it's
Yes.
just about having the boundaries and discernment of, ooh, that is love bombing. I'm not going to fall into it. But of course, you can be attracted to it. You just have to know better.
Okay. Good answer. Awesome. Well, listen, I'm going to be very careful of our time here. Let me see if there's anything else that I really need. Well, I want to talk to you about your course. You've got so much going on. You've got a podcast, you've got courses, you've got group coaching, you've got individual coaching, we've got some promo codes. So, have I missed any? First, tell us about the podcast, where they can listen to your podcast.
The podcast is called Misunderstood, Guiding Highly Sensitive People Through an Emotional Dark Age. It's on all platforms. I
Okay.
also have YouTube, which is just my name. It's been up there for, I don't know, over 10 years. Thousands of videos you can
Yeah.
watch.
Right. I was watching them this morning. Fantastic videos.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I should mention I'm doing my first retreat end of October this year. So look for that if anyone's interested.
I
And
am. Where?
yeah,
Where?
it's going to be Dominican Republic in the Caribbean from, I think the dates are going to be October 29th to November 2nd.
So that's like 4 days?
It's 4 days.
4 days.
Hmm.
And is that on your website?
Not yet. We are literally soft launching it. I have to wait to get the prices perfected before I actually create the link. And I have these like really amazing experiences I'm doing there. So I want to make sure the people doing them are available for those days. So as soon as that is set, I'm going to be announcing it hard
What
launch. But
so what can somebody expect to get out
yeah,
of those 4 days?
I'm so excited. We have a secret, but I'll tell you guys. But anyway, so it's going to be a lot of deep dives with me personally going into, as you probably know, I can see your inner child. So when we're talking, like different numbers pop
Can you
up.
see mine?
I see 7 keeps popping up, like it's 7 years old.
Yes. Oh my God. And it's my favorite number too, but that is always, I think that's my first memory is when I'm 7. I don't
Just
really have a
yeah.
clear memory, but when people go, how far back can you remember? And I'm like 7.
7 was the turning point. I got chills. Yeah. So I'll just see you and I'll see a number and I know something happened and then I can go in and show you your entire thing. So I'm going to be doing that with people. If they allow me to, which
Oh,
all my
wow.
clients are like, tell me more, tell me more. I had this girl, I'll tell you briefly. This woman in my Truth Room membership, she has been with me for a while and she goes, I watched, this was this morning. She goes, I watched our replay from last week. How do you do it where you were telling me things about my relationship that I never told you? And I knew, but you brought it forward into my consciousness as real. Like, how did you know that about the different roles in my 7 year relationship? I go, oh, I just saw I go, because I go, was it 7 years? She was, yeah, I go, I saw 7 years of characters and you were different in every one. She's like, how the fuck could you do that? So we like went deep
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sort of the
That's your
parts of
gift. That's
it.
your gift. That's our gift. You know
Yeah,
what? And we deserve it. I'll tell you something because it's not easy being an HSP,
no,
as
it's not.
discussed, And so that's the payoff. Yeah.
Yeah,
And now that you're so in alignment, you
yeah.
can really see things. And that's what you were talking about earlier about bringing your gifts forward, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I help people do too. So at the end of the 4 days, your gifts are going to be on fuego. And there's a few different ways I'm doing it with horses. We're doing one thing where I'm having people float in the cenote, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
sound bowl experience while you're floating to integrate the inner child after we do one of the exercises. So there's a lot of cool things. And at the end, I'm pretty sure there's a concert that I'm going to be bringing you to. So it's going to be an incredible, intoxicating, I would say, elevating 4 days.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait. Okay, so you got to let me know
I'll
when I
let you
can find
know.
that because I mean, we're only like a month and a half away or well, actually the end of October it would be 2 months, 2.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for my listeners, Candace has offered 20% off her courses and the promo code for that is 20 off courses and coaching packages and sessions. The promo code for that is 20 off. So the one for the courses is
20% off.
20 off courses, and the one for the coaching is just 20 off. All right. And I think, is that it? Have I covered everything? I mean, I could talk to you for like three
I
hours.
was going to say we should just do round two. I'll just have you on my podcast and we'll
Oh,
continue.
let's do, because there's
Definitely.
so much more. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've told you before I got on, I was like feeling anxiety this morning because there's so much I want to talk to you about. And it's like, when you start feeling anxiety, then your ADD, it's like this ping pong ball going on. So I
I think
think
you
that
covered a lot of really good stuff. I
I
do
think
want
so.
to continue with you, so I am going to schedule you on mine.
Awesome.
But I think we could talk for hours, and I think people will probably have some things they want us to talk about. So maybe we'll do an Instagram live and ask them, what else do you want us to talk about?
I would love that. Let's do that.
Let's
Let's
do
do that.
that. Why
Okay.
not?
Right
Yeah.
on. Oh God, I'm so glad I met you, Candace. And thank you everybody for joining in. And I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. I know that I did. Please continue to watch. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. And we will see you next week. And thank you so much, Candace. We'll be in touch very soon. Mwah.
Wait.